Good morning. What a glorious day it is. Today I'm going to go round, I'm going to go into the north because it gets a bit busy around here on the berth, and I'm going to show you the lure rods that I use. I've got a little video coming out of me and my son messing about with them, but a lot of people have asked what setup do I use, what the different rods are, different reels and braid, and obviously the lures that I use. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to get myself round into the north. It's nice and quiet around there, and I'll do a little video of the setup that I use. Okay, so I've just got myself round to the north. It's nice and quiet around here. Get loads of people walking past where my berth is. So yeah, today I'm going to show you the setups that I use for lure fishing. So first of all, let's get this one down. Now what I use is I use a 10 ruse. These are lovely rods. This is a bulldog, this is a mastiff, and on this, these Shimano Stella reels. These are absolutely bulletproof. They're lovely, lovely reel. I've waited so long for these to come. I've had them on order here in my local tackle shop for well over a year, and I went in there the other day and Martin told me that they've got another estimated order date, which is January. And I said, oh, so they'll be in January? And he went, no. He said, that's just when they'll reorder them again. They could be another 6 months, could be another year. So I bit the bullet and I bought them on eBay from a guy in Japan. And as I said, it cost me about 300 quid extra for import tax and duties and whatever. But yeah, basically, so this rod is a bulldog mastiff. It's a 10 rue, it's a deep game special, and this is casting 20 to 60 grams, but you can jig this 180 grams, you know, well, 200 grams you can get away with, but it's 180 gram, that's a vertical jigging. So you're never going to want anything bigger than that, in my experience, on deep wrecks. But there is times when you go out when the wrecks are like 180, 200 foot deep. So you do need to have a big, you know, a big lead head. So like that's a Savage Gear, that's a 150 gram. It's quite heavy, but my other rods that I use are not powerful enough to manage this. But this is the daddy of the lure rods, so I use that. So that's that one with the Shimano Stella. And what I do is I have Casterman braid on this, and this is PE free, and that's 47 pound breaking strain, but it's very, very fine line. It does cost a bit more money, but you do definitely notice it. And on there I have about 18 inches of Seagull fluorocarbon, and that's 30 pound. And on there, I don't know if you can see, I've got like a little snap clip. I've just started using these which lock in tight, and I've got that on there because I keep really just putting you don't want to fray these eyes, otherwise the braid will cut and obviously fray. So that's one of them, that's the mastiff. Now this is the next in the lineup. This is my original one that I use. I've had this one for quite a few years. As I said, I've been doing this style of fishing for about 13 years now. Never really done sort of the traditional way with the sidewinders and the 8-foot boom. I've only ever really done lure fishing. And on here is another one of those Stellas. This is a 4000 version. On that is a 5000, so it's just a little bit more grunt. Same setup. It's lovely with these wheel handles. It's really nice to grip. And there again is my line clip to put my lure through. So this has got Casterman 30, I think it's 33-pound braid, but this is a PE2, so this is even finer, and it's absolutely beautiful. And yet again, I put about 18 inches, 2 foot of fluorocarbon, and as you can see, let me just take this lure off here, I've got this little clip that I tie on, and it's like a fast clip, and that seems to work perfectly at the minute. As I said, I've switched around. I'll show you my old ones that I use, and all that does, that lure just clips through there, and it just keeps that safe. So yeah, this is a bulldog puppy, Tenru again, and this is a lighter rod, and this is designed to cast, I think this one casts 20 to 45 gram, but this is 100 gram vertical jigging, so it will take, this here is a Savage Gear, this is an 85 gram, but it'll take up to 100 gram, that's vertically jigging. So I can get away, to be honest with you, I can get away with using this setup on most wreck fishing. It's only when the tide starts ripping that 100 gram just gets swept away, and then I'll use that mastiff, but I like to use that one for sort of using like these. This is just a sidewinder one. I mean, they're quite expensive, but this is like 160 gram. That's a cotton candy, and that will bomb straight down, so that's for the bigger rod. As I say, this is the Bulldog Puppy, Shimano Stella 4000, 33-pound line, and this is my favourite. This is my go-to rod of all time. So yeah, beautiful setup. And then finally, this is the rod that I've just bought. I got this from a guy in Jersey, Mick Ward, absolute, he's the bass specialist in the country, and this is a Tenru injection SP73M, and this is a much lighter, tippier rod. There's my old Shimano Stella on there, perfectly fine. It's not a saltwater version, but it's a 4000. That's loaded with 33-pound braid yet again, and that has these are my original ones that I was using, these fast clips. They're just not that fast, I'll be honest. I quite like those other ones. Yet again, I've got about an 18, well, it's a little bit smaller, this one. It's about a foot of fluorocarbon on that, and all the fluorocarbon does is it stops the braid snagging on the wreck or on the reef. As soon as braid touches anything like that, coral or anything like that, it'll just go. So that all that does is it literally stops the fish. If the fish drag it down into the reef, it just stops it snagging. And this is this one here is a much lighter rod. This is a 5 to 28 gram, and you don't want to be sort of working a lure any more than about sort of 55, 60 grams with this rod. I mean, when I tested it out the other week, I did have I think it was that 85 gram Savage Gear on there, and it was a little bit much for it, but obviously I had a pollock on it, so it's fine. But this is beautiful. But my intentions with this rod and the rest of this season is to actually do a lot of casting using this is an example. This is a little drift shad, little weedless drift shad, and I'll be casting these. And what my sort of plan is to cast it up tide and then pull it back in the tide. And when that's out about 80 yards or whatever, and you let it drop down, you just literally need to just wrist snap this, just little flicks, and obviously the tide is dragging and it's pulling that lure up through the water. It's working all the time when it's in the tide, so absolutely fantastic, and I'm sure it'll be killer this year. But really, this rod and this setup is just designed for shallow water, casting up by the rocks, and a lot of reef work. So I'll be doing a lot of sort of small reefs, and where I can get away with it, I'll use it. And then obviously really these two other 10 rods, more for wreck fishing, and if the tide's ripping a little bit faster on the reefs, then obviously I'll switch over to the puppy, the original one. But this is fantastic. I really love it. I wish I'd have bought one of these years ago, but I've just really been stuck in my ways a bit, and doing the vertical jigging, and sort of been blindsided by doing this other way of fishing and I like it. It's absolutely deadly. So I'll sort of be casting, you know, at least 200-300 foot away from the boat, and as I said, letting this sink down and then just flicking it, and it's actually coming, the lure is coming against the tide, so it's fluttering in the tide all the time, and you're literally just lifting that up. I've also got here, I'll go through my lures with you, but I've also got here some of these, what are these ones called? These are shoal sticks, and these are from Drift as well. What I've done is I've actually put a weighted jig hook on here, so it's only a 7 gram one, but this I find just too, this is more for surface work. I like to get that down slightly, so with that little weight there, that will actually sink, and with these lures they actually dart, so I think they'll be pretty killer. So we'll go through some of the lures now that I use for each of these different rods. Right, in this box here, what I do is I have these, this is just a Snowbee, but just a lure box, and it just keeps everything nice and dry. It keeps the hooks up off the you know, if you so you don't get any water in there. And I've got a varied selection in here. Some are homemade heads like this and bodies, and some of them like a Savage gear. I do like the Savage gear, but these are all really designed for that bulldog puppy, which is the 100 gram vertical jigging. And what I do is I've just literally marked on here 65 to 100 grams, so I know what box is what. And so yeah, let's get some of these out and I'll show you. So yeah, this is like a Savage gear style one, and I believe that's an 80 gram lure. You can see sometimes you do get a little bit of rust on there, and all I do is I just take that off. I have got I've got a hook sharpener here, and literally I just take that little bit off there. They do tend to just, it's only surface rust. It's just nice to keep them sharp. As I said, if you keep them in this box, it does save you quite a bit. So this one here is a homemade one. That looks like that's been made there for a weedless, but I mean, I just adapt it really, and that's like a fishy crazy eel type, and that's got a lovely action. As you can see, that works through the water brilliantly. And that's just a homemade head there that I bought. I'll say the heads sometimes are, you know, £9 each, so I can buy these for about £2 off my local tackle shop, and really and truthfully it's only for sinking the lure down into the water, so it doesn't really matter what you've got on there. Sometimes if you have a ball head on there, that will actually, when it drops down, the water will move away, so it will make vibration and whatever. So this one being pointed like that will drop that lure down much quicker. This one here is, I believe this is a sidewinder, and it's a rattle one, so it's got like quite a sharp eye, but this, if you can hear that rattles. It's got like a little rattler in there. Whether that does anything, I don't know, but yeah, quite nice. And that's a smaller one. I could probably get away with using that one on that injection rod. That's about the maximum I'd use, but that will work perfectly fine on that on the puppy. So that's just another one. So there's a few here. Let's have a look what I got the other side. Yeah, you can get these all different sort of colours. I believe this is I think this is diesel or something they call it, but it's got quite a nice tail on it. And some lures will work. That's almost like a sand eel colour, green and sparkly silver, but that seems to work fine. It just depends. Different days, different lures will work. You've got to switch your lures around and try and find what's best. Right, let's show these new clips. So these are basically, let's cut that tag end off so it doesn't look so horrendous. Let's just clip that off. Right, so these new fast clips that I've got, and they're just literally like a lock-in clip like that. So basically you put that through your hook, clip it on, and it should not move anywhere. These are probably I think these are about £80 breaking strain, but they're probably a little bit overkill for the small rod, but you know, they're absolutely fine. I don't believe in using a swivel. If you've got a swivel on there, it will turn that lure like that, which isn't a natural action. So I always use a clip, and then that will keep that straight. And then basically when that dives, goes down, and then you're vertically jigging it up. So you can work that through the water. And that's how that is on there. There's the clip. And you can actually put this clip on the bottom there. I've never used it that way, and that will actually lift that up off the bottom, but I only ever put it through the top of the head. Never really tried it that way, but that's for that setup. And literally they are much quicker than the ones that I was using, my fast clip ones. Even though I'm not making that look very quick, but yeah, they are quicker. So that's a selection of these ones. These are for the 100-gram rod. Now, these are just a few more. This is like a blue sparkly one. This is 100 grams. That's a Savage gear as well. I do like the Savage gear, but that's sort of a mackerel-y colour, which works. And these I find, even though this one's a little bit beaten up now, these I find, these sort of lemon and pink white ones, I find these absolutely deadly for the pollock. These really seem to work well. I don't know if you can see them here any better, but they really seem to work well. And there's the mackerel coloured one. These are all 100 grams. There's just a smaller one with a smaller head. This is like a crazy eel kind of lure. As I said, you know, that the head is, I think that's a 60-gram head, and it's quite a nice 6/0 hook, and that literally nails it. That goes. That's just a slightly smaller lure. I do like the bigger lures. Right, so that's what I use on this bulldog, this puppy. So let's put this clip back on here, and that just keeps that, so it's out the way. They're only cheap on Amazon. I think they were £7 or something for 10 of them, just attached with a bit of rubber on there. Just saves. I always put it through the eye, and really and truthfully, it's like a £500 rod. You don't want to be putting your hooks and that round there. If that does get frayed, it will cut onto your braid. But as I said, these are super strong. So right, that's that set up. So let's move on to the this box here. I've got it marked as 30-gram Reef and 42, which is perfect for this this new rod that I've got, this injection. So this literally will these are the lures that I use for this, and these are just really a selection of these ones here are from the Drift Fishing Company, and these are lovely little weedless ones, sort of all different shapes and sizes and colours, and as I say, you can poke that hook down in there so that it's buried, and that when the fish bites on that just pops up. So these are ideal for working on the reef, and they're the perfect weight, 30 grams, and they'll cast absolutely perfect. These are lovely, and these are all designed for this smaller rod. There's another one there. There's a rattleback there, which I think you can hear that. I think that's a sidewinder. Another bit of a dirty hook there, so that needs cleaning up. But these will work as well. And there's just a pink one there. And on the other side, I think these are the 42 gram ones. So there's a selection of these, and I believe these are sidewinder, and these are quite nice actually. They're a weedless, so when the fish go on, that will just grab that. There's sort of like a pollocky colour one, which works superb, and these are quite good. These are like a green, and they've got like a yellow dot here. They seem to work well. And there's just another one. And these are all designed for this rod. And as I say, I've got, this is my older clip that I started using. So let's try and put this together so you can see this. So they are still okay, but it is just sometimes, well, there you go, straight away that time. But sometimes it is a little bit awkward to get this on and off. It's not too bad with the smaller ones, but yeah, there. It's just another clip that literally you just go and it's done. So that's perfectly fine for these small shads. And then on to the big boy. This is the mastiff. This is the sort of 180 vertical jigging rod, which is designed for these big shads, and this is what I use on here. So on here I've just basically got big written on here, and these are all the big lures that I use for this rod. And as you can see, these are like 140 Savage gear, quite long, quite strong and heavy, and this is a 180. It's even bigger, but it's just not possible to work that. I have used them on the puppy before, and it's just too much strain for it. It's got no problems in grabbing the fish once it's got it, but it's just not doesn't work in its design to work these lures correctly. So these are what I use for this. And also here I've got another big sidewinder. This is a slow jig, and that literally is I think that's 160 grams with assist hooks. So you hook that like that with the hooks at the top, and that literally bombs down to the wreck. That gets down there in seconds. So let's have a look. You can see that. And these are all Savage gear, but these are, as I say, these are heavy duty ones, big heavy lures. You know, you probably get away with this sort of stuff in Norway, but you do need it to get down on these deep wrecks. These are all Savage gear. These are all 160, 180 gram lures, which is designed perfectly for that rod. So yeah, basically all you do with this is just clip it on. He says that's it, and then that locks in, and once that's locked in, that's not going anywhere. Okay, well, I hope you got something of me showing you what I use. I know a lot of you have asked the different setup I used, and I'll be honest with you, I mean, these rods and reels are high end. They are sort of the Rolls Royce of the lure fishing. I mean, the Shimano reels, if I was to get them in this country, over £600. I mean, I'll be honest, with the import tax and everything else, they cost me pretty close to £800, but you know, and each of these rods are 500 plus, but you don't have to go to that extreme. I know that H2O, they do a Bula, and they're about 180 quid, but you can pick up a lure rod, I'll be honest, for, you know, 45, 50 pounds. And I think once you get the bug, you know, then you can go out and get yourself something sensible. And a lot of people ask me, you know, oh, it's only a rod or this, that and the other. That isn't the case. These rods are designed to work lures, and it is all in the action, and the braid does help you get down. I mean, the braid is sort of nearly £100. You know, they say, oh, you can use spider web or this, that and the other. Well, yeah, you could do, but it has a lot to do with the drag and the way that the lure is presented under the water. Without a doubt, I've been doing this for, as I say, 12 years now, and I've learned quite a lot about it, and it definitely is all about the rod and the reel, without a doubt. But yeah, I hope you got something from this video. I'm trying to keep I'm trying to get a video out every Monday now, so I'd like to do one of the equipment. I did do one of the boat, but I'd like to do one of the equipment that I run. Obviously I'm an ambassador for Lowrance, so I've got all Lowrance stuff, tech in here, and literally the boat is singing and dancing. I'm not going to say it's going to catch you any more fish, but it certainly gives me an advantage using charts and navigation systems that I do, and obviously with the radar system and everything else, it just makes my experience at sea much better. But yeah, I hope you got something from the video, and as I said, I'm trying to get one out every Monday, Manic Mondays. So yeah, hopefully what I might do is, it's Saturday today, so Sunday the weather's not looking too bad, I may flick out to a wreck and try this. Even though I've had this mastiff for over a year, I haven't had the reel to use with it, so I might go out and flick some big heavy lures on a wreck and see how I get on. And then maybe there's a reef about 12 mile, 14 mile out that no one really fishes. It just seems to get bypast that reef, and I know there's some nice fish on it, so I might try that one. I'll see how I get on with the real light rod, and if the lure is presented down there, fine, I'll use that. If not, I'll go back to basics and go back with the bulldog puppy. I won't need the heavy duty, that mastiff, but as I said, I've got the whole setup now. I've got sort of the real light working rod for the reefs, casting up at the rocks and things like that. That's absolutely perfect for that. And for wreck work, you know, even up 200-foot deep wrecks, I'll use my puppy, as I have been throughout my sort of skint of lure fishing. I always use that one. It's sort of a bulletproof rod, which will work 100 grams, but sometimes I've found that the tide's been moving just too fast for 100 gram, and when I put a 150 on it, it's overkill for the rod. So I've got the mastiff now, so I've got the whole complete range. And as I said, Tenru with Shimano Stella is a match made in heaven. But yeah, thank you for watching, and hopefully we'll get some videos of me out in the water trying these rods. Have a lovely day.